Our episode today starts in this place where the qualifying round for the classification competition is going to be announced. Tan, Desire, Romantica, and Bram stand before their other competitors. At that moment, Millie uses her wind strike, easily overpowering everyone. Then, Bram wields his mighty sword and achieves a fantastic victory, reaching level 29. The scene then shifts to the director, who watches Desire with incredible success, but now they are about to make him a significant target. Newspapers and magazines are extensively covering him. The official is frustrated because Beta class is currently holding the 30th position. Will this be the first time a class ascends to the Alpha rank? The official is very upset because he doesn't want them to tarnish the sacred Alpha class, and he strikes his hand on the article and catches his breath again. He then apologizes to them for his disgraceful behavior and hopes they understand his anger. He informs them that they have been chosen to be among the prestigious Blue Moon. They may be only in their first year, but they now bear a significant responsibility to protect and uphold its honor and traditions. In the final round of the competition, they must use any necessary means to eliminate their opponents, ensuring they maintain individual rankings. Then, he addresses Azist specifically, asking her if she has faced Desire or not, and wanting her to defeat him in any way possible. Azist informs him that she now has the advantage and can definitely defeat him. He reminds her that she is the leader of the first-year students in the Blue Moon, a high-ranking position, and she must respect it and ensure victory for them. Azist speaks to herself, determined to overcome the taste of defeat she experienced before, knowing that Desire is very powerful. She believes she can defeat him with all the strength they've been given. The scene then shifts to Azist walking in a large corridor. Two students, Danita Hadan and Percival, stop her and ask her what she wants and if she objects to being the top leader. Percival laughs and tells her that he knows how strong she is. He asks if she has any information about Romantica because he wants to take her down, while the red-headed person wants to face Bram. Azist assures them that she relies on them completely, and their best chance of winning is by fighting as a united group. Unity is strength, and division is weakness, she tells them. She then informs them that Desire is unlikely to be in this match because she intends to face him one-on-one. She wants to defeat him with her full strength and doesn't want any of them to interfere. The scene then shifts to Desire, who speaks to himself, acknowledging that both of them have sufficient skills. Perhaps now they are ready for the next step. He takes it upon himself to train them to the best of his abilities. Next, we see Bram and Romantica performing exercises. Then, he informs them that they will have special training for the final match. The scene shifts to the library, where he gives them some history books. Desire tells them that they will be studying history. At this, Romantica is shocked and shouts loudly. She then explains that the final round of the classification competition will take place in the shadow world created by the Academy. In this world, historical events are created by various standards, and if they can prevent these events from occurring, they will secure the world of shadows, making it entirely safe. Bram understands this and mentions that, if they have historical knowledge, it will help them in securing the world of shadows. Romantica expresses her confusion, as they don't know which events from which era will recur. Desire playfully tells them that they will read all the books in the library. Bram and Romantica are shocked, and their hair stands on end. Desire speaks to himself, knowing that in any shadow world, the final round is already in the past. He doesn't disclose this fact to them, and everyone continues to read the books intently. Desire and his friends sit down to read their history books, and Bram keeps glancing in Desire's direction, wanting to express his gratitude for everything Desire has done for him. However, he feels too embarrassed to do so. Romantica notices Bram's attempt to avoid her, but she still speaks to him in a very quiet voice so that no one else can hear. Bram confesses to Romantica that he wanted to thank Desire for everything he did for him, such as going shopping with him and buying food, as well as sharing his knowledge of swordsmanship. However, he never mentions the sword to Romantica. Despite Romantica's persistence, Bram remains tight-lipped, not wanting to discuss anything. Their conversation becomes somewhat awkward, and they continue to exchange words in hushed tones. At one point, Bram accidentally drops his book on Desire's head, prompting Desire to ask them to continue reading their books. Desire apologizes to them, and they all return to their reading. Then, the sound of footsteps approaching is heard, and it's Azist who walks over to their table. They have been constantly watching each other. Azist comments that it has been a long time, around 2 months since their last battle. Desire mentions hearing that Azist has joined the Blue Moon, which he considers a wise choice as she deserves to be in the strongest faction at the Academy. Azist then informs him that she has come here today to declare war on him. Desire understood her intention even before she spoke. He tells her that it's in her nature to show respect to someone she knows is her opponent. He points out that she underestimated him on the day he defeated her. Azist apologizes for her previous actions but assures him that she won't let him win this time. She's determined to defeat him with all her might. Desire looks at her with a mocking expression, understanding that this is the spirit required to defeat her immediately. He knows that she must use this determination to become stronger. Desire then recalls the time when he exerted himself to fight Azist, wanting to ignite her fighting spirit so they could change their future. He asks her to continue evolving. Azist leaves the room, and we see in Desire's expression that he really wants to fight alongside her. On the following day, the day of the classification competition, all the students gather for this training. Journalists are taking pictures of everything happening in front of them. In the dark alley, Desire, Bram, and Romantica stand together. Desire explains that this is the final round and a significant event in the Academy. Many people from the town are flocking to witness this great battle, as if it were a festival. Romantica notices that Desire is wearing a necktie, and he tells her that she tied it this way because he prefers it. She asks if he's not hesitating in this matter. Romantica understands that he's the kind of guy who loves showing off. Bram suggests a solution by finding a necktie for their friend, so he won't be choked. After some thought, Desire agrees to let them find one for him. He then tells them to be ready, because it's the time of omens. Desire and his friends go out to the battleground, and the entire crowd welcomes them. The three of them are the focus of high expectations from the crowd. However, it's interesting to note that while most groups consist of many participants, Desire's group consists of only 3 members. The question remains whether they can win this grand battle. Azist's team is also seen along with Desire's team, and one of them comments that the person they're looking at doesn't seem strong. The girl advises them not to underestimate his defense and reminds them of what Professor Forgeman said about Desire. The competition's announcer then announces the start of the final round of the classification competition to secure the Shadow World for the participants. They need to prevent a specific event from happening. Desire remarks that they don't know anything about the incident, and Azist tells him that knowledge of the event is part of the mission to make fun of them. The announcer explains that in the Shadow World, it's allowed to use attack magic and other methods. However, if someone receives lethal damage or intervenes too much, they will be disqualified.
The announcer informs the participants that those who secure the Shadow World and contribute to it will receive more points, and the top 10 players will be given individual classification titles. Desire contemplates what they need to do to secure an individual rank. He emphasizes that in the Shadow World, they must either secure themselves or defeat every participant here. Then, the magic gates open as the final round of the classification competition begins. A bright light radiates from the gates, capturing everyone's attention. Desire assures his friends that they will succeed and put all their effort into it. They enter the gates and find themselves in a forest. The announcer mentions that their positions have been randomly determined, and she asks them to do their best to secure the Shadow World. Desire's first priority is to find his friends, but suddenly, a girl attacks him with her ice powers. He easily evades her attacks, and she comments that she's lucky to find him quickly. Desire seems unaware of his fame, and the girl taunts him, saying that he's shameless. She attacks him with a powerful ice explosion, but Desire counters with his fire magic, defeating her. The girl then uses another type of magic, directing a powerful aqua attack at him, which Desire withstands. She challenges him with this magic and asks if he has any last words before she kills him. Desire tells her there's nothing but advises her to aim here, placing his hands on his abdomen. He tells her she lacks control over her magic and uses his power to break her spell. He warns her not to underestimate her opponent and always think about her next move, as these are the basics of the battlefield. He concludes by saying, "Don't underestimate your opponent, and always think about your next move, these are the basics of the battlefield." In a fit of anger, she exclaims that it's impossible for a sorcerer like him to defeat her. He then attacks her with full force, ultimately defeating her.